Welcome to your life-changing adventure of male self-improvement. Our mission is to help you develop into the best version of yourself. We will inspire you to overcome daily obstacles and coach you through the process of becoming a high-value man. Watching our videos will enhance the quality of your life, so listen up, gentlemen. The information that follows may alter your life. The greatest change you can make in your life right now is to adopt Nofap, because our culture actively encourages a young man to whack it while watching moans and groans. Many guys are hesitant to give up explicit entertainment. Society tells us beating your meat is normal and healthy. Millions of people around the world are ignorant of the negative effects of viewing adult content. I'm going to convince you to accept the Nofap challenge and stop watching skin flicks forever, starting right now using scientific evidence. It is crucial to understand the neurotransmitter known as dopamine before we even start talking about this type of visual stimulation. Dopamine is responsible for motivating humans to seek out and pursue rewards. If you've ever had an urge, you know that dopamine was the driving force to pursue that reward. Your excess of chocolate cake dessert binge fest was the result of dopamine. When you fought for hours to level up in a video game, dopamine was to blame. Dopamine was the culprit if you've ever had to force yourself out of bed in the morning to go to class. You lack the motivation to carry out your plans without it. Scientists have conducted dopamine experiments. When dopamine receptors were turned off, lab rats lacked motivation, which led to the rodents being so lethargic that they starved to death despite having food right there in the cage. Dopamine levels are impacted by addictive substances like opioids and processed foods. When exposed to levels that are not normal, your brain responds by lowering the total number of receptors since it is constantly working to preserve homeostasis. A significantly increased dopamine receptor stimulation. Lower dopamine levels have a drastic impact. According to scientists, people who have less dopamine receptors get tired easily and lack motivation. Stress, agitation, forgetfulness, social anxiety. Decreased libido, as well as an overwhelming desire for junk food and sweets. There is compelling evidence that a lack of dopamine causes depression. You're probably thinking right now, well, that's for hardcore drugs. No amount of watching moaning and groaning could ever have the same effect on my neurological system as cocaine. But you'd be wrong. The activity that naturally stimulates dopamine the most is visual stimulation. Your body's purpose is to provide you with the greatest reward for having sex, a dopamine high. This is because mating is vital for your DNA to exist, and we all have a natural urge to reproduce, so your body has always rewarded you most for it. Scientists observed that male and female mice would smash all the time when housed in the same cage. After a while, the male mouse would get bored. He would struggle to reach the climax and eventually gave up on it. Dopamine levels gradually dropped in the male mouse. However, when a fresh female mouse entered the scene, his dopamine levels immediately increased and he resumed his destructive behavior. The researchers kept putting new female mice in the cage, and he would continue mating until he was physically unable to move. Human males are also subject to this phenomenon. If you can view skin flicks while maintaining high dopamine levels just by flipping between videos, it's like taking a little cocaine hit every time you watch a new clip. And unlike hard drugs, which are expensive, dangerous to overdose, and difficult to get, you can easily spend hours watching adult content while flooding your brain with dopamine levels that are on par with those caused by strong narcotics. When that happens, your brain naturally starts to decrease the amount of dopamine receptors it has, and after years of witnessing this, its dopamine reward circuits sustain serious harm. This is a significant contributing factor to mental illnesses in men, such as social anxiety, depressive disorders, and lack of motivation. It interferes with your dopamine continually, and what's worse is that society openly encourages this behavior. It should not be a surprise that those who successfully complete the Nofap challenge and give up dirty movies for good have reported having a heightened libido, among other things. When they ultimately decided to stop viewing skin flicks, they experienced reduced anxiety, an increase in their social abilities, and a renewed feeling of life. Dopamine levels start to return to normal. I can assure you that you will experience the same advantages when you embark on the Nofap challenge.